The Supreme Court has pulled up the SBI in a fashion which is astounding. The top court junked India's top bank, SBI's plea, seeking time till June 30th and ordering the banks to submit an electoral bond donor details to the Election Commission by tomorrow, March 12th. Furthermore, the EC shall compile the information and publish the details in its official website no later than by March 15, 2024 by 5 p.m. The top court has even said that if SBI fails to submit the data by tomorrow, they will face contempt proceedings. But here's the catch. The Supreme Court has allowed SBI to submit two separate lists, one list of the donors and the others of the bonds redeemed by the political parties. What this means is that the SBI does not have to connect the two lists, so we won't have information on who donated to which party, but many suggest, well, it could reflect in terms of could be matched. Here's more.
The miscellaneous application filed by SBI seeking an extension of time for the disclosure of details of the purchase and redemption of electoral bonds until 30 June 2024 is dismissed. Full stop. SBI is directed to disclose the details by the close of the business hours, 12 March 2024. Full stop. As regards the ECI, we direct that ECI shall compile the information and publish the details in its official website no later than by 15 March, by 5 p.m. on 15 March 2024.
All right, let's cut across to my colleague Nalini Sharma, who's joining us live with the very latest right now. Nalini, would you give us the implication of this order? What does it mean for the SBI? Because if SBI doesn't comply, which is the top bank of the country, then it will be held in contempt.
Well, Preeti, like the Supreme Court also clearly stated today during the hearing, all of the data that the top court has asked for is something that is already available with the SBI in sealed envelopes deposited with their main branch in Mumbai. So all they have to do is open the sealed envelopes, put together the data and give it to the Election Commission so that the Election Commission can comply with its deadline of the 15th of March and put out that data. Now, what is this data that the Supreme Court has asked for? Mainly two things. Number one, who has purchased the electoral bonds, on what date and for how much amount. And the second set of data that the SBI is supposed to put out is which political party has encashed how much bonds on which particular date. What they will not give, Preeti, is which individual or which entity or which company has given those electoral bonds to which political party. So we are not going to know exactly who has donated to which party, but we are going to get to know who has purchased these electoral bonds, when they've purchased it, for what amount they've purchased it. So only once the SBI data tomorrow is submitted to the ECI and eventually published on the ECI website by the 15th of March, we can try and make some link to determine as to which political party got the donations from which person or entity, because only after finding this out can we determine as to whether or not these political donations had any impact on any government policy, or was there any quid pro quo between these companies who were donating to political parties, and as to whether or not the ruling party in the country, which is the BJP, made any government policies keeping in mind these political donations that they were receiving. But that is only up to the petitioners and to the citizens of India to determine. The SBI from their side will not be putting this data together. It is going to be an uphill battle because the window for both the issuance of the electoral bonds and for their encashment is extremely small. Less than 15 days window is provided, both for issuance of electoral bonds as well as for the encashment. So it remains to be seen how many details are put out first by the SBI, how soon the Election Commission can publish that data. The deadline is the 15th of March, and depending on that data, whether or not there can be any interconnection that can be made between those who purchase the bonds and eventually the parties who encash these bonds or not.
And Nalini, if the data is not uploaded or disclosed where SBI is concerned, then the top bank of this country could be held in contempt.
Absolutely, and the Supreme Court's made it very clear, and they've warned, in fact, the chairman, none less than the chairman of the SBI himself, stating that if this data is not given to the Election Commission by the end of the working day tomorrow, then contempt proceedings will be initiated against them. This obviously comes on the heels of the fact that both the petitioners in the electoral bonds case, the Association for Democratic Reforms, as well as CPIM, have both filed contempt petitions before the Supreme Court, because the deadline has been long over on the 6th of March. So the Supreme Court's just given them a short window of 24 hours to make this happen and to submit this data to the EC. And in case that does not happen, then contempt proceedings will no doubt be initiated against the largest bank of the country.
All right, Nalini, appreciate you joining us and breaking it down for our viewers. We're going to let it be, viewers, but for now, fair amount of politics at the back of that as well.